welcome back to Sin City Crypto, a special Saturday morning live show on our TA and fundamental analysis video, live show, whatever you want to call it. We only focus on technical and fundamental analysis here, and today is a very, very special episode. Today, in partnership with Hotcoin, they are sponsoring today's live show, and in doing so, if you guys know us in our channel, when we take sponsors, first thing is we ask them is, what are we going to do for our community? We asked Hotcoin and they said, well, we can do a giveaway. And so they're going to give away $250 to one random person who creates a Hotcoin account. And it's limited to the first 25 people to do it. This is a no strings attached. It's not a bonus. It is straight USDT in your spot address. You could literally not do a damn thing and just pull that $250 out, or you can leave it in there and trade with it and essentially take some free money, that 250 bucks, and I don't know, turn it into 5 grand, 10 grand, 100 grand. Who knows? If you're a good trader, you can make it happen. And so big thank you to Hotcoin. I'm also thinking about doing a giveaway myself. I'm doing another 250 bucks to maybe the first person to hit a 50% or more ROI trade on Hotcoin. The first person to do that and post it and tag us on X, I will send you personally $250. And so that's 500 bucks at stake here. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. So big thank you to Hotcoin and big thank you to all of you guys for tuning in. My name is David. I want to jump in here. Now, you guys know we got a Patreon page, okay? I put this out yesterday to our Patreon members, okay? There was more to it, but I don't want to go over the whole thing. There is also a real chance Bitcoin chops for 30 to 90 days between 80K and 90K, and we see alts in certain sectors like AI or RWA start to run. Odds of this happening, I put it at, 30%, maybe 35, 40% after seeing what Bitcoin did yesterday. We had that 86.5 level marked out. As you can see, this kind of salmon colored, who says that? This pink colored, this light pink colored trend line here, which is going to be, has been your resistance. And yesterday, to the T, literally, I can keep zooming in and see how, this thing literally, the high was 86.517. So we were $6 off. $6 off. And so we actually entered into a short trade and we closed out for around a 24% profit, I believe, on the ROI. And so, but what we're seeing here on BTC is a potential bear flag playing out here. And you guys know we talked about this all last week or the week prior. Well, I guess it's still part of this week, but it was just, you go to the 4-hour time frame, the 2-hour time frame, to 3 hour. Almost every time frame for every chart, we were seeing bear flags play out. And so we need to invalidate this bear flag. We need to get above that 50% level on the fibs. And let me draw that for you so you can see exactly what that looks like. So our 50% would be 87,460. If we can claim that level, and we can trade above it, maybe make some support on top of it, then this bear flag could potentially be invalidated. But as of right now, it looks like that's where we're going. We're heading, I do believe we're going to head back up to that 86.5 again and probably see some resistance there again. And so I am actively looking to short that resistance level for BTC unless I see something fundamentally change, maybe on the lower time frames. I remember this is on the daily, and so this thing will take a little bit of time to play out. But, my base case is we either chop sideways, kind of like we did here, right? We had 2 deviations to the upside that took us to our new highs. But realistically, outside of maybe, cumulatively 28 days between the 18th of November and the 24th of February, so 3 months. 3 months, we were essentially trading between $90,000 and $100,000. Does that sound familiar? Going all the way back to February of last year until October of last year. So 8 months. 8 months. Of course, we do have deviations, large sell-offs, but we didn't get a single spike above this 71.8 level for a very, very long time. And essentially, we chopped sideways, range-bound, tapping the resistance, catching support, breaking through support, coming back, retesting. So it was pretty boring. Now, you're able to make money by longing the support, shorting the resistance levels. But could we see something similar play out in this range here? Potentially, yeah. I mean, there's a non-zero chance of that happening. Do I think it's probable? No. Like I said, I would put that around 30%. There's so many bullish catalysts. Yesterday they announced the first ever crypto town hall, I think, or crypto with the White House. And so there's a lot of things trending in the positive direction. And they just are not tangible catalysts that people can wrap their minds around, right? A tangible catalyst would be the reserve passes. We're going to start buying 5,000 Bitcoin every Friday for the next 5 years, starting next week. That's a tangible catalyst. So people are like, oh shit, they're buying. Let me go out and buy. Another tangible catalyst would be the Fed coming out and saying, you know what, unemployment rates have went up. Inflation is actually going down. We're going to go ahead and slash the interest rates by 50 basis points. And by the end of 2025, our goal is to get down to 2.5%. That would be a tangible catalyst because people understand that. But the whole idea of we're getting legislation and we got pro-Bitcoin and pro-crypto administration in the White House and Zelensky gets booted out. All jokes aside, there just has to be some kind of tangible catalyst because headline news and what's to come in 3, 4, 5, 6 months isn't moving the markets right now. And it is what it is. Instead of trying to fight the trend, we trade with the trend. And the trend right now is currently down. And so the key levels I'm looking out for, the most important level for me is 92,500. If we can break above this level, no, it's a big one. But if we can break above that, the entire structure of this chart changes. And I do believe Bitcoin just turbo sends to like 150K. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comment section. Also, if you're new here, say hello, welcome. We are doing a giveaway. Check the pinned comment, and that link is in the description of this video. French Toaster, Po Man, Raul San Miguel. ¿Cómo estás? Mucho gusto. Jesse Galuk, Johnny said, go, 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 go. Bitcoin dominance is silly at this point. Chance, I was looking at this. Okay, so this is on the actual Hotcoin platform, which they're available in a bunch of different countries. I typically use VPNs. Just to make sure I'm protected here in the US especially. So you know what I'm saying? But you can go to their website and you can go to market and they have different industry data. So you can go on here, you can see stuff like your fear and greed index, right? Right now we're mostly bearish. We're at 20. We were at 10. We were at a 10 in the middle of a bull market. And if that's not partly a bottom signal, I don't know what is, even though I do think a likelihood of one more flush down is potentially there. And then Bitcoin dominance, as you mentioned, 60.22%. Now, historically, this would be the time during a bull market where Bitcoin's dominance starts to trend down towards that 38 to 42% level and alts start to run. That is not what we're seeing. Every time we say this cycle is different, and there's intricacies, but overall, the cycle is typically the same. As far as timeline goes and timing, this cycle has been absolutely different. And you can see Bitcoin's dominance over the last 1 year just been eating up everything, especially ETH. 1 year ago, essentially today, ETH dominance was at 20%. ETH dominance right now is at 10. You go to all time, okay? Pay attention. Blue is Bitcoin, green is ETH. ETH has been getting destroyed at the peak of ETH's dominance, 35%. This was back in 2021, right before we got our second top in Bitcoin. ETH's dominance got to 34.5%. That is no longer the case. You see Solana eating into that. Let's go to the 1 year here on the dominance. You see Solana, BNB eating into that 3.32. You get rid of USDT, and the other is a bunch of the other altcoins. And then another thing you can check too here is the ETF flows. Now, we did for the first time see on Friday positive inflows for the ETFs, meaning that Wall Street woke up and said, you know what, we feel like Bitcoin is at a discount, or our percentage allocation to Bitcoin has dropped below what we want. So we wanted 3. It's at 2.5 because the price went down. We need to buy some and get that thing back up to 3. We talked about this stabilization mechanism within Wall Street their kind of theory on investing and how they stick to their numbers, right? If their number is 3%, they're going to stick to 3%. If their number is 5, they're going to stick to 5. And so that is what we're seeing. So we saw massive amounts, $2 billion in 3 days float out of the Bitcoin ETFs. And yesterday we saw inflows. And then you have your heat map here as well. Now, if you're a trader, you can also go to the futures and take a look at that as well. This shows you like the historical trading volume, the whole Bitcoin open interest. So that has kind of been trending down. Now, this is on the daily. If we zoom into the 4-hour, still trending down. The funding rate, right? Funding rate, whether people are being incentivized to put in long or short positions on Bitcoin, and then liquidations as well. We did see a large spike in liquidations yesterday, as Bitcoin trended down towards that 80K level again. Then you can also go to trading that. This one's pretty dope. You can see the different money flow. Are people buying? Are people selling? You look at ETH, price change distribution. You can take a look at long to short ratios, the futures open. So there's a bunch of good data in here. And I'll get back to this a little bit later, but I want to take a look at where the rest of the markets are. So Bitcoin, 85,134. Now my initial TP on this trade, and I believe I was looking on the 4-hour for BTC. Yes, I was. So love seeing this essentially a V-shaped recovery. But the key level for me here was 86.5. I had two. I had 86 and I had 86.5, but 86.5 was the big level for me. That was a big level to overtake and flip that into resistance. That was my, I had a checklist, right? My checklist number 1 was 86.5. Checklist number 2, and I can go back here, was 92.4, and then checklist 3 to get to that 150K Bitcoin. And I think once we hit, and then that third checkpoint was 100K, psychological number. I think that's what sparks the FOMO rally, especially if we get there with speed. If we can break through 86.5, 92.4, I expect some resistance there. Come back down, maybe retest the 86.5 region, spend a couple days there, blow through 92.4, get to around 96K, have a pullback V-shaped recovery over 100K, and I think Bitcoin full sends to 150. Because once we're over 100K, after seeing this massive drawdown from $109 to $79,000, that is $30,000 swing, my friends. That is a big number. And so if we can reclaim that 100, I think FOMO is going to kick in. And that timing, along with everything happening, is just going to be a perfect storm of catalysts, of FOMO, of retail, of institutions. People are getting their tax money, the whole no tax on tips and overtime, that kicks in. So there's a lot that is brewing that I think is going to push the price of Bitcoin up. But I'm still, again, interested in shorting. So we got a short in at 86.5. Now, my initial TP, my take profit, was at 84,000 even. I moved that up to 84.7 and it actually closed. So we got our profit there. But I'm looking to short that again. Although I think there's a higher possibility this time that we do get a breakout above this 86.5K, but I'll just simply have my stop loss right around 87.5. You take a little bit of an L on ROI on the trade, but you don't lose your shirt. I learned that the hard way in leverage trading when I first started is you got to have stop losses. For me personally, some people like to free ball it, go commando. I don't, especially when you have people that are following your trades and copy trading. And so that was not good, but we learn and we adjust. All right. Just going to take a quick peek here at the chat. If you're new, say hello. El Chingon, what's up, brother? Lasers, Nicholas, ACH. You ain't no money? I have smutch on my mind. Haven't even looked at the Bitcoin price. Does it even really matter? Lasers, if your time horizon is 10 years, no, doesn't really matter what Bitcoin is doing now, honestly, unless you're looking to buy. No disrespect, but doesn't TA mean pretty much nothing in this current macro fundamental environment? Frankenstein, okay, so you shouldn't put everything in a TA. You shouldn't put everything in anything, right? What TA simply allows you to do is look at how are traders feeling, right? I look at it from obviously a number standpoint, but also a psychological standpoint as well, right? When I see a candle that has, like this candle, for example, right? The traders had no idea what they wanted to do, right? You saw a large wick to the downside, so bears are trying to push the price down. Bulls pushed the price back up, and then price literally closed where it opened. Actually closed above where it opened, so it closed green. And so there was this tug of war, and there was no clear winner. And so there was a lot of indecision in the markets. And then the very next candle, you saw large liquidations, which is why that candle, this one here, is hollowed out with a strong body, higher wick to the downside than it is to the upside. It's like, okay, the Bears definitely won there, but the day prior, the Bulls really put up a fight. They actually closed higher than they opened. And so you can so this is what I like to also use on top of looking at numbers to hit and harmonics and Fibonacci retracements, and just from a nominal value, you have that. But you also have a psychological perspective, and then you saw a little bit of a relief rally, and then you see this bear flag playing out, and then you play to the downside. And so I think it's a bunch of different things you can see, and you can see when the market is truly shifting the narrative from bearish to bullish by, is it taking out key levels? What does the RSI look like? Do we have bullish divergence? Are we getting lower lows or higher lows on the RSI, but lower lows on price? Meaning the bears are losing steam. And so you can use it in a lot of different ways. Sure, TA is not everything. People make fun of TA. I've done TA for a very long time. And so, I've never streamed doing TA. So it's a little different, right? You can't sit there and really be in deep thought and try different things. You got to have a clear and concise method of how to do things. That takes a little adjustment. But looking at charts and candles and having different indicators and kind of gauging the psychology of the market and the traders, you can really use that to your advantage and make money. So I don't know if that kind of answered your question, or I don't know if that's the answer you're looking for, but that's kind of my stance on TA. I don't put everything in a TA, but I think it's an important tool to have in your tool belt. If you can just learn simply support, resistance, trends, understand volume, RSI, play around with some indicators, you'll be a better, well-rounded investor. And if you want to become a trader, you can make a lot of money too. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the markets here. Let's look at the top gainers. So Hedera, man, we did a Hedera video yesterday. It is up 12.24%. Take a swig of my prime. Hedera, I think Hedera, and Rob kind of mentioned this yesterday. I mentioned it yesterday. We've been pretty big Hedera bulls, but there's a couple of charts I shared on Hedera. Now, this obviously is the fiat chart, but I also looked at the versus Bitcoin chart, right? Hedera versus BTC, and it has been crushing Bitcoin. And let's zoom into the daily. It has been absolutely crushing Bitcoin. If you were in Hedera from Tuesday of last week till today, you'd be up an additional 40% versus BTC. Then I also looked at another one. I looked at dominance, HBAR dominance, that is also seeing a large spike. And so Hedera, very fundamentally sound, great team, the whole DREC Alliance, they just had their HederaCon, Swift was there. I think 2025 is going to be a big year for utility coins, projects that everyone made fun of, laughed at, and called them Dino coins, the Cardanos, the Algorands, the Hederas, the XRPs, maybe not Avalanche, because people weren't really calling that. But these projects, right? ICP, shout out to Casper, I'm wearing a Casper shirt, by the way. But I think those ones are going to get strong bids. I think people are kind of at the moment sick and tired of the speculation, of the rug pulling. I mean, we shared a chart on Friday, Pump.Fun, there is like 0 tokens that are bonding. 0 in a 24-hour period, or I think it was a 1-hour chart. 2 months ago, over 1,000 tokens a day that were being launched on Pump.Fun were bonding, meaning people were buying, the liquidity was being burned and put into the liquidity pools. So that is not happening. So people are sick and tired, right? You go to the casino, you work your ass off, you make money. You go to the casino, you hit a jackpot. You're like, oh, damn, this is pretty nice. Or you go play poker and you win like $400 or $500. You're like, oh, this is pretty cool, man. Yeah. You go the next day, you make another $400 or $500. And now you start thinking to yourself, wow, I can really turn this into a career. I really hate my job. I make good money there, but if I can just do this 5 days a week, make $400, I can cover all my bills. And then you keep going, and then you start losing and losing and losing, and you realize, this is a lot harder than I thought. Maybe I kind of got lucky a couple times. And then what do? You end up going back to your job or picking up a new job, stable, utility. And so kind of the same thing. Now, I think that narrative always comes back on the back end of bull markets. because people make money on projects like Hedera, on Cardano, the ones I mentioned, right? The utility projects on Bitcoin, on Ethereum. They make their gains, then they start feeling euphoric, and then you start seeing some meme coins start to run or some more speculative plays. And then you're like, you know what? Man, if I can catch this, and that's typically the end of the market. This time we saw the reverse. We saw memes run first. Alts didn't really run, right? Cardano ran from 30 cents to $1, okay? Cardano ran from 30 cents to $1, $1.30. So it pretty much got a 4x. Look at a project like Chainlink, okay? Chainlink from bottom to high, okay? From $10 to, it ran a 3x. Avalanche went from, well, we'll just measure from here, from $22, and it ran up to 150%. So we didn't get that massive rally in these solid utility altcoins. ETH has just been dying against literally everything. I think it's kind of funny seeing Vitalik and the ETH Foundation being so vocal on social media now. They're feeling the heat, man. ETH is feeling the heat, and they got a big group of developers. So if they can get some of their issues fixed, ETH still has a chance. I would not write off ETH, but obviously looking at the dominance chart that we kind of shared with you guys, looking at the dominance chart, I think it was in spot. Looking at this dominance chart, ETH has just been getting absolutely destroyed. It's been gobbled up by other layer ones. So they're feeling the heat, and they're obviously doing something about it because you're starting to see some interesting parallels and kind of interactions on social media with Vitalik and the entire ETH team. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think utility coins are next to run. And then within those utility coins, let's take a look at specific sectors, right? AI, RWA, you got gaming, you got infrastructure, you got decentralized physical infrastructure, right? DePIN, you got stable coins, which, you know, shared last week, I believe on Wednesday, I shared a few projects that are in that stable coin space that could potentially be a game changer, right? And one of them was ASF, which asymmetry finance. Oh, there we go. So asymmetry finance, okay, this is backed by the likes of Fidelity. This thing ran up to $4.44, okay? And this, if you just zoom out and you look at, well, what's the value area, right? What's our value area for ASF? If you're bullish on stable coins and you believe stable coins are going to be big, right? Your value area is here. And that is between 90 cents and $1.60. And that is exactly where we are within this range. And you look at what happens every time price gets in here. You go back to the week of December 16th, we wicked down to around call it $1, okay? And it rallied at 4x. It 4x out of this region. The time after that, right? We got to close within this. And then from there to the high, you have 180% gain. And that is where we're currently at now for asymmetry finance. So I'm pretty bullish on this project. Again, this is something backed by Fidelity. So big name behind it. And again, zooming into the lower time frame, even zooming out, we can even zoom out a little more to the 4 hour. And just on the lower time frame, every time price gets into this value area, we see large moves to the upside. So I don't expect anything different. Now the timing is where you're gonna have to figure out, is it gonna happen in 2 weeks, 2 months, 3 months? But this is a project that I plan on. This went into my cycle to cycle bucket for now. Meaning I bought the project and I believe it's gonna do well this cycle. And when I think the end of the cycle is near, I will sell my entire position and I will take profits and I will stable up or put them in a Bitcoin. That's my cycle to cycle bucket. Not to say that this thing can't move from my cycle to cycle into my long-term bucket, or maybe my flip bucket. Maybe I become less bullish on it and I'm like, you know what? I'll be happy with a 3x and then I'm out. Right now, this is in my cycle to cycle. I do believe stable coins are going to be a massive narrative, not just here in the US, but globally. You got Bank of America, one of the largest banks in the world, talking about launching their own stable coins. There's real money there for these people. And I'll tell you something, man, these guys ain't going to they are not going to leave that amount of money on the table. Can you imagine the board meeting when Bank of America and the board members and JP Morgan and everyone, like, yeah, did you see that one company, Tether, made a $2 billion in a quarter with 100 employees? It's a no-brainer, man. And so the question becomes, okay, well, how do we front run it? How do we make money from it? And with, I believe, again, stablecoin regulation being the very first legislation to come out of Congress, I think having projects like asymmetry finance, we talked about Curve DAO, we talked about Convex, having those, some of those in your portfolio, I think is a good idea. Shout out to Alex. Oh, what's up, Alex? French Toast said, we got to get Alex back on the city. I agree. Alex, I'm going to reach out to you, and we're going to bring you back on the show, man. We love having you on. We love you. You're always in our chat, brother. I appreciate you, man. Slime Monkey said, honestly thinking about converting some ETH to Link or Ondo. Okay. I would ask you a few questions. One, what's your cost basis on your ETH you're trying to sell? How long have you been holding it for? And do you currently have any Link or Ondo? So feel free to answer those questions if I get back to it, and you know, maybe I'll give you my thoughts or what I would do. Also, guys, if you missed the beginning of the show, we are doing a giveaway in partnership with Hotcoin. One person is going to get $250 airdropped into the spot wallet. You can withdraw that immediately. There's no barriers there. But you got to be one of the first 25 to create a Hotcoin account. I'm also doing my own giveaway. $250 in USDC to the first person that nails a 50% trade or more on Hotcoin. Post your trade on X, tag us, and the first person to do that, I will personally send you another $250. So if you're the person that wins the $250 and you hit that trade, $500. I know, I mean, for me, it's like a week and a half of groceries because I got 3 kids who just won't stop eating, especially my 12-year-old kid who just has got a tapeworm or something. But maybe that's your car payment. Maybe that's your rent. Who knows? So we always like to get back to our community. So shout out to all you guys. And again, shout out to Hotcoin for sponsoring today's show. I'm glad I filled that CME gap. Now it's over and done. Yeah, you know, that CME gap was, everyone was talking about it. We've pretty much filled it. Okay, we pretty much filled it. Also, Broke Yoshi, what's going on, brother? How you doing? All right, let's go back to the markets. Take a look. You know, we kind of stopped at Hedera. And so Hedera, strength in the dominance, strength against Bitcoin, strength on the fiat dollar chart. And so, I mean, don't sleep on Hedera, man. We had those zones. And you know what? I'll go back to Hedera real quick and then I'll move off of it. We had some zones, some value zones for Hedera mapped out. We had 2 zones for Hedera, okay? So if we'll go to the daily, and we just hit one of them, right? And I mean, I'm telling you guys, you just look at what price does in these areas, and price always reacts. And this time it reacted and it bounced. And so we've seen 18 cents to 25 cents. What is that percentage-wise? I used to be really good in math. We'll just take here, the bottom. 37%. So this is an area we talked about between 15 and 20 cents. I know that's a big gap, but again, we talked about the scenario of, do you want to wait another 5 cents or another 3 cents or another 2 cents? And I understand when you're buying $1 million worth or $5 million worth, it becomes a lot of coins. But are you willing to wait for a 2 cent better entry versus risking getting a 40% gain? 40% on a $10,000 spot bag is $4,000, 40 grand on 100, and 400 grand on $1 million. So it's a lot of money. And this is, again, something we've talked about. And so at this point, I would wait for a retracement of Hedera if you want to enter. I am all about never jumping on these 100-mile-per-hour trains, these projects that are absolutely rallying. And I said this in my post here, right? Never buy when you're euphoric and never sell when you're fearful. When you make your financial decisions, be in a mediocre state of mind. What do I mean? Emotionally, right? You can't be high, you can't be up, you can't be down. You got to be in the middle. Right? You think clearly, have a game plan ready, and that way you don't make stupid decisions like sell your Hedera on this dip to 23 cents or sell your Hedera when it dipped to 17.9 cents because you were scared and you were convinced that some YouTuber on YouTube told you that Hedera is going to zero and you should sell it, and you listened because you were scared. So don't do that. You'll end up losing money. You're going to make a lot of money in this market. You just got to be patient and be smart. MakerDAO, another one, right? The issuer of the DAI stablecoin, another stablecoin play, up 8.78%, 11.88% on the 7-day. Sonic, which has been on absolute fire. I think I saw somewhere they were the fastest to ever hit 1 billion in TVL. They did it in 62 days versus the next fastest, I think, was Sui at like 300 days. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone in the chat, but I mean, you got someone like Andre Cronje, aka the godfather of DeFi. I mean, I've played around with Sonic. I actually downloaded the Rabby wallet. I've been playing around on SwapX. I actually did some liquidity, provided some liquidity, so I'm earning, I think, like 180 or 200%. Wrapped Sonic and wrapped SwapX. And so I'm bullish on the Sonic ecosystem, and Sonic is a sneaky one, okay? It's very sneaky because people don't really talk about it. We refreshed this page and we consistently see it. Big gainers. And then when everyone realizes, oh shit, this thing's been moving, you go to the chart. And if I can find, I'm going to pull up the Phantom chart because we have more data and volume on Phantom because, obviously Sonic was a rebrand. You start seeing Sonic or you start seeing Phantom, right? It has this rally from 37 to 56 cents. You see it on the coin market cap. You're like, okay, Phantom is moving, guys. Phantom is moving. It has a retrace. And that has another leg up from 51 cents to 62 cents. And you're like, okay, Sonic's moving. And then you see that rally to $1. You're like, oh shit, okay, what is happening here? Sonic is absolutely crushing it. And by that time, the people that got in at these levels, that got in at 27 cents, that got in at 32 cents, that even got in at 52 cents are sitting back and saying, hey, I'm sitting on a 2x bag right now. The markets are bleeding, but Sonic's sitting on a bag. And then look at this pattern here on Sonic. Are we potentially seeing a breakout right now in Sonic? You guys see what I'm seeing, right? Cup, handle, breakout. Now the measured move here, and I think I did this last week, but I'll do it again because I'm sure we have some people who weren't here last week. If this, in fact, is the breakout, the target, what we're targeting is around $1.10, which kind of coincides with this level here. With this level here, where you've seen $1.05 to be exact, where we saw it act as resistance quite a few times. So we actually broke above. When we failed this breakout, we had a positive retest and then broke through it. Came back to retest and failed. This was back in 2024. Now we are on the daily candle timeframes. And then here you had some consolidation around this region. Had a rally up to $1.37. Came back to retest on a wick. That held. The next day, retested on another wick. That held. And then on the way down, we try to retest, and that is currently resistance. And so it makes a lot of sense. Now, is this going to be the candle that breaks this thing to the upside? And we were about to get a bearish crossover on the MACD. You guys can see here. We were about to get a bearish crossover on the MACD. I think that is going to reverse. Kind of looks like a dolphin, actually. Bloop, bloop. But either way, just a beautiful cup and handle pattern here on Phantom and Sonic. You know, is this worth a trade? Let's go to the 4 hour. I mean, this is a pretty, not really. The retracement on the handle was, and I'm just kind of, this is what I would do if I didn't have a camera on. So I kind of like to talk out loud through it so you guys can really understand my level. So, I mean, that's the golden ratio, 618. That's kind of where our cup, I mean, anything below 618 on the handle, it would have been invalidated. I like to see it stay above 50. The 50% retracement on the move from the bottom of our cup to the top of the beginning of our handle. But we saw a dip down to the 618. So I mean, yeah, this thing might be ready to break out, guys. To $1.05. So you're looking at 73 cents to $1.05. The only thing that would worry me, right? And this is one thing you keep in mind. You can have a bunch of different patterns on different time frames on charts, different cryptocurrencies. But at the end of the day, if the conditions macro generally are shit, these things can be invalidated. You could start seeing a breakout. We saw it in so many different charts, breakouts that we thought was going to be, fulfilling the end of the pattern, as whether it's a breakout to the upside on a bull flag or breakout to the downside on a bear flag, and then it just gets invalidated and it just comes right back into its pattern. And so, yeah, I mean, the only thing we're not really seeing volume. I mean, you get a bullish crossover on the MACD here, and just to kind of see a couple things. One, we're bullish on all time frames. That's good. And so the only thing I didn't like here is that we got a bullish crossover, but that happened at a 2-hour support or resistance level, which is 75 cents. And you can see going back to this past Tuesday, we kind of wicked up here a few times, but got rejected every single time. And so to me, when I look at MACD signals, I want to see bullish or bearish crossovers. I want to see a bullish crossover happen at support, and I want to see a bearish crossover happen at resistance. And so we saw the opposite here, which, didn't move the way a lot of people. I know one person who literally just anytime he gets an alert on the MACD crossover, he trades. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're going to lose so much money. If you would have entered the trade here on the crossover, you'd be down. And I don't know what kind of leverage he's using, but if he's using any sort of high leverage, he's going to get wrecked, completely wrecked. All right, I'm going to take a break, take a look at the comment section. Ben Simmons says, Filecoin can hit $25. Well, sure it can. I don't know. Will it? I don't know. I thought I was leaving. I'm listening. Flying drones with metal background. Interesting. 5-cent H-bar super value. Yeah, I mean, you didn't need me to. You guys already knew that, though, right? You don't need me to sit here and tell you that. 5-cent Hedera is worth a lot of money. It's going to be good. Where do I get a wallet to store my crypto off exchange? Curtis, there's a lot of different ones you can use. I personally really enjoy Tangem. I love Tangem. Tangem wallet. It's super, super user-friendly. The interface is great. Yeah, I love Tangem. I think we have a link. If you want to support the channel, there should be a Tangem link. And you know what? I'm going to drop that in there. And then it actually, just whatever you do, order one of the 3-packs because you want to get 3 cards. And the one thing with Tangem I'll say is, if you ever happen to, I don't know, accidentally lose one of your cards, immediately order the replacement. Because the way you get wrecked with Tangem is if you lose every single one of your cards, then you're kind of screwed. 100 likes, I'll give 5 memberships. Okay, Po Man. Okay, you guys want some free memberships? Get up to 100 likes. Also, if there's anything else you guys want me to take a look at personally, whether it's my thoughts on a project, my thoughts on a project's chart, let me know. I'll be more than happy to do that. And then just to kind of go back here. So some of the trading data here on Hotcoin. So Bitcoin futures taker buyers, right? Is there more buyers or sellers? This is on the futures again. Now, if you're a trader, these are really invaluable. And then this is what I want to talk about. So this part here, market fluctuations. So you can look at every coin, which is over 470 pairs, that is currently on Hotcoin. You can go on here under market, and you go to industry data. You click on trading data, and you go down here, and you can essentially filter these out by, hey, what were some large buys? Okay, large buy on ETH, large buy on BTC, large buy on Doge, tells you what time it happened. And you can click on this as well. My eyes. There we go. And you can click on this chart, and then you can look at the order books. You can look at the live trade. And then so you can use these tools to your advantage. It's pretty intuitive. And then the cool thing here too for me was, if you're a swing trader or if you like scalping micro trends, and I don't know what that looks like for you. That's not something I typically like to do. But let's say you're like, look, I want what projects have bottomed out. Okay, here you go. This is bottomed out. It kind of gives you a list, the price action it's had, and then you can click on it and go directly. You can go to the weekly highs, which ones have hit their weekly highs, which ones are rapidly moving down, which ones are moving sideways. Now, this one you can use to your advantage. You can say, okay, these ones are moving sideways, you can click on here. You can go to the chart, whether it's on Hotcoin or on TradingView. And let's take, let's go and use Axelar. Someone asked me about Axelar yesterday. All right. Axelar, let's go from Binance. That's your 4 hour. That's your daily on XLR. Yeah, we've kind of been range bound between 38 and 450 cents, right? Just chopping sideways. And so now you can say, okay, which ones are sideways? Now, typically sideways price action could last 2 weeks, 2 months for some projects, like a year. And then you go in here and you figure out what's going on the chart. You start on the higher time frame, right? Get rid of this SNR. You can just flash this and say, okay, all right, so we're pretty bearish on the high time frames. Looks like we might be seeing some reversals on the shorter time frames, okay? And you look at this chart, and if you're bullish on XLR from a fundamental standpoint, you look at this chart and you're like, okay, what are you waiting for to buy? Are you waiting for a level that's never been hit before? So unless you draw fib extensions, you're just like, all right, dude, we're at the lowest prices. So if I like XLR, I'm buying. And then you just zoom in, and you got to zoom in a little more on these type of charts and kind of see some more local support and resistance levels for XLR. Okay. Nothing exciting. Got a bullish crossover on the MACD. See if we see any. I mean, you kind of have a bullish divergence, but it's very minute. I mean, you really got to zoom in. Actually, no, you don't. You don't. So there's really nothing exciting about this chart from a trader standpoint. Now, again, if you're just a buyer and you want to buy and stick it in a spot bag or put it in a hardware wallet and you believe in XLR long term, cool. You're right now at 41 cents, so you're about a penny away from a 2 and a 4 hour support level. But the big one here is 38 cents. You take a look at what price is done at 38 cents for XLR. You're looking at a rally from 39 to 44 cents. You're looking at another rally here from 37 cents up to 45 cents that happened fairly rapidly. And so, again, moving sideways is going to break to the upside, is going to break to the downside. Another measure you can do to see, is a breakout coming soon or not really? You can throw Bollinger Bands on, right? And anytime you see these bands start to constrict, here was an example, right? And then the price spilled off from 41 cents down to 37 cents. You had another one kind of here, had a squeeze here, and price ultimately fell from 50 cents down to a wick low of 41 cents. So, yeah, and then the last one, we actually had a squeeze on Thursday. We had a squeeze and price spilled off to the downside from 43.2 down to that 38 cent level. And then you can even zoom out to the daily, see, and you're not, I mean, this is actually expanding to the downside. So just some ideas for you guys if you're looking for trading ideas or whatever you want to do. So, yeah. Hope that kind of helps. All right. Will Trump wear a Bitcoin pen on his suit Friday the 7th or Barron an Ether shirt? If Barron hits me up, I'll give him my ETH Supreme shirt, okay? He can wear that. That would be pretty cool. I'm just going to take a look at the chat. Can you look at H-bar chart again? No, I already looked at that, Jen. I know you're a big H-bar fan. ETH to 0. Oh, I thought that was Muhammad. That wasn't. Buy me a purse. No. I'm in research mode on Moonwell. Ben Coin is at a low. Yeah, I heard, Ben Coin is really, really low. Guys, reminder, create a Hotcoin account. Use the link in the description. One person out of the first 25 will get $250. And then also $250 to the first person to hit a 50% or more trade on Hotcoin. Post it. Tag us on X, and I will personally send you $250. What is AXL? XLR is essentially an infrastructure play, to put it mildly and kind of sum it up. It's an infrastructure play. And so it's kind of the cog in the wheel of connectivity, so to say. And so it's an interesting project. Price action wise, it's kind of shitty. Again, the chart just looks pretty ugly on high time frames, but that's okay. If you believe in the project long term, it's a great place to start. All right. And then just to see some of the biggest gainer or the biggest losers of the day, Athena, man, this thing is getting destroyed. These funding rates were not very good. I think that we saw negative like 80% plus funding rates on Athena for like 2 months. And so this thing is getting destroyed. Big unlocks happening for Athena. Speaking of big unlocks, Solana had a big unlock. Do you guys remember? Everyone was talking about it. $1 or $2 billion. Solana's going to sell off. I was like, look, man. I was like, people are expecting this thing to sell off. And so everyone's trying to front run it. And then the actual event happens and nothing gets sold off. You know why? You know why? Because those people who got that Solana from the FTX bankruptcy for like $20 or $30 or whatever the price. I don't even know what the price was. They're not selling when it went from $250 to $140. That's not happening. They're going to let the price go up. They're going to sell retail on, oh my God, Solana's going to new highs. Then they're going to dump. And that probably at that amount would be the top for Solana. I don't know how high it goes. I'm not sure. But right now, Solana, from a fundamental standpoint, is not looking good. And last time I tried Token Terminal, it was giving me a hard time. Let's try it out again. And if this thing gives me a hard time again, then I won't be using it anymore because it's going to make me look bad twice. I mean, look at everything. Token trading volume down 30%. Fees. This is a big one here. Fees down 56% for Solana. That is not good. Take a look at compared to the BNB chain. Okay. BNB chain at 207 some, Solana at 1.1. But look at this sharp spill off for Solana. From 89 million down to 13. In the same time frame, BNB went from 3.47 to 5.6. Active users, Solana, right? It had a high year around 136 active users monthly. It is now sitting at 79. So we talked about this multiple, and then the revenue just completely fell off a cliff. I mean, look at this. Let me see if I can. Oh, wow. My haptic keep mouse pad is actually cooperating with me today. And Token Terminal is too. It must be a good day today. It's Saturday. Look at this revenue. This is compared to BNB chain. Okay. So just to see how stable revenue typically is. 260K, 400K, 300K, 500K, $1.5 million, you see a spike. But to go from $45 million to one, it's not good, man. That is not good. And a lot of that, we talked about this multiple times. And we said that, you know what, I'm going to just look here. And, because a lot of people on social media, they bullshit and they try to, stroke their own egos, and they got no freaking, they got no backup, like they got no receipts, right? I want to show you guys what I put. I posted this to our Patreon. Let's see if I can find the write-up for you guys. Which, by the way, if you haven't joined our Patreon, I recommend you do so. We've been putting in a lot of content into the Patreon, for everything from trades to really write-ups, thoughts on the market. I could have swore I had a write-up. I'll have to find it and show you guys. But when we started seeing that 75 to 90% of Solana transactions were meme coin trading on Pump.Fun, and then we had the first big, meme coin extravaganza with Trump. at some point, this thing was going to come to an end. And so I actually sold all my, 90% of my Solana, and I moved it over into BitTensor. And this was when Solana was around 210 bucks. I know I'm going to be off number wise. BitTensor was around 350, 400 bucks. People call me crazy. And yeah, I'm happy I did that. But I also bought a lot of that Solana at $20. So it was a no-brainer for me. I thought the top was close. I didn't like the fact, and I know Solana is more than just meme coins. I just didn't like the fact that it was 75 to 90% of all transactions were meme coins. I say don't put all your eggs in one basket, and this is why. From 45 million down to 1.1 million. Now, you look at this might be a great opportunity. They still have the RWA plays. They still have the stablecoin plays. They still have the institution plays. They got a lot of money behind it. And so by no means do I think Solana is dead. I think it actually is a good thing that this happened. It is a good thing that this got washed out. It gives Solana a chance to reset and not be known as the meme coin scam chain and showcase the other things it can do. That's going to come from people building dApps. That's going to come from partnerships. They go out there and they onboard a big institution or a big Web2 company. It'll change that entire narrative very quickly. And so I think Solana's got a great chance to do that. And I'm rooting for him, man. I'm rooting for Solana. Because if it wasn't for Solana, ETH would still be, hey guys, ETH Denver this year. We got an upgrade coming out in 3 years. What? And so projects like Solana, they come around. Projects like Sui come around. They move fast. They break things. And it puts pressure on the projects that maybe got a little too comfortable with Ethereum. And so that is what we're seeing. All right. Time for Sol to ditch memes and grow up. Yeah, I agree with you, Kelvinator. But I also don't like that people are blaming Solana for the meme coin scams. How is that Solana's fault? People chose that chain as a chain to launch meme coins on, not worry about the price and scam. Okay. All right. How is that Anatoly's fault? How is that Raj's fault, which are the founders? How is that Solana Network's fault? It's not. It is what it is. You're fast, you're cheap. You got stuff like Jupiter and Pump.fun, which makes it easier to launch those things, then people are going to flock to it. Now you can sit here and say, well, they shouldn't build those things. And then it's not, and then you lose the whole decentralization. It's like, if you truly want free speech, you're going to have to listen to people you don't agree with. If you truly want decentralization, you're going to see apps, dApps, and people that are trading on chain that you don't want to see, that you don't agree with. But that is the negative to having free speech, to having decentralization. You can say that about really anything in life. Jesse's so annoying. Probably watch daily, just don't hit the like. I don't know if I call him annoying, but sell Sol and buy H-bar. I don't know if that's a good idea right now, Raphael, because of where prices are and what Solana has done versus what H-bar has done. We could already have 177 likes. We could, yeah. All right, guys, I'm done. My kid's got a soccer game in about an hour. I got to go get ready. Got to go eat something. And so I want to thank every one of you for tuning in. I want to give a big thank you again to Hotcoin for sponsoring today's very special show. Again, guys, they are giving away $250 to one out of the first 25 people to sign up for a Hotcoin account. $250 USDT, no strings attached, zero. You can literally log in, pull your money out, and never log on again. What I'd recommend you do is use that money and try to multiply it and turn $250 into $2,500, $25,000, maybe $250,000 if you're a good trader. Also, I'm doing a personal giveaway. The first person to hit a 50% or more ROI trade on the Hotcoin platform, post it, tag us on X, and the first of those I get, I will personally send you $250. And so you can put in a trade for $1 and hit a 50-cent profit, and you'd get $250. So just as a way of thanking our community, kind of showing our appreciation for you guys. And again, to Hotcoin, thank you very much. These guys are awesome guys. just sign up for an account. It doesn't cost you anything. They got 470 pairs. These guys are the real deal. They're legit. So we're excited to work with them. We're excited to continue to work with them. And again, someone asked, they're like, or someone mentioned something about we're becoming like the ad channel. Let me put it to you this way. When we ask for your attention for something, we typically give you something in return, right? So any negotiations that we have with potential sponsors, our first question usually is, well, what are we going to do for our community? Because we want them to feel included. We want them to feel part of the team, part of the community. And so that is our theory and philosophy. If we ask you guys for something, we try to give something in return. We don't like to extract value from our community. We like to provide value. And so instead of launching a meme coin, we spent 20 grand and created a book, right? You give us $50 for the book. We make a little money there, but you get some reading material. You get stuff that can actually make you a better person, make you a better investor, trader, whatever you want to call it. And so that's kind of been our philosophy. We're not short-sighted. We put a lot of money into our business. And every dime, can you believe, not me, not Robin, not Rocco, for 3 years, have not taken a single dime out of the business. We keep reinvesting everything to make the product better, to make ourselves better, and to make sure that you guys are getting the best product. And so that's our commitment to you guys. And so thank you for support. So when we do partner with people, with sponsors, we got another deal in the pipeline that's going to be a big one. We're excited for that one too. And so our channel's growing, the business is growing. We're just excited to have you guys here. And I know I went off on a little bit on a rant, but either way, guys, I love you. Have a great weekend. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We will see you guys on Monday for the AM live stream. Until then, guys.